What's going on, H-Town? Houston Rockets fans all over the world, Houston Rockets haters, NBA fans all over the world. And if you're an NBA hater, you're probably not watching this video or not going to be on here too much longer. But my name is David Marotta, brought to you by FanArch. This is Rockets Daily. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're in the beginning stages of this channel, but this is the beginning of a long-term relationship that hopefully we're talking about a championship next year. Well, we're going to talk about the championship in just a moment, but hopefully we're talking about the championship with the Rockets playing for it next year. First thing that you could go ahead and do, go ahead and subscribe. That way you can find out more every time a video is dropped, and you can tell us what you like, what you dislike, or how crazy or terrible my potential trade proposals are. I absolutely love it. Let me know what you guys think. I want to know from you guys, from the real Rockets fans, from the people that actually cover, for the people that actually are interested in the NBA. Yesterday's episode, if you're watching this for the first time, you can go ahead and check out. We were talking about some under-the-radar options that I feel that are under the radar that would definitely help Houston, especially improve the outside shooting, because three-point shooting, I talk about it again and again and again. It gets repetitive, but Rockets need to improve the outside shooting. Had a great season overall during the regular season, but when you talk about teams that went to the postseason, only the Orlando Magic shot at a lower clip from three than your Houston Rockets did. And we've already seen, whether you agree with it or disagree with it or think that they did too much, the Orlando Magic have already made a substantial move with getting Desmond Bane to improve their outside shooting. So what are we going to do? You know, it's one of those things, like the core, like where the team is. Maybe, you know, all these young guys, talked about Reed Shepherd yesterday, can improve, was over a 50% three-point shooter in college, can take that next step. But one way or another, three-point shooting is going to have to get better on this team. How do you do that without falling off defensively, without falling off? And you want to continue to do the things that you do well at a high level, but bring in some better shooters. A lot of times those better shooters are not going to upgrade you defensively. So, you know, we got to talk about that going forward. And let's go ahead and talk about this NBA Finals here between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. And this next game, Game 6, could end up being it. It definitely could end up being the final game of this series. Tyrese Halliburton, by the time you watch this, his news is always changing in the NBA, and obviously there's not much of a reason for the Indiana Pacers to show their hand. You have to wonder if Halliburton is going to be able to play in Game 6, and even if he does somehow make it out on the floor, is he going to be effective, and is he going to hurt the team more than he could help the team? Is this going to be a situation we saw with Cleveland? You know, Darius Garland had that injury that wasn't supposed to be that serious. Wasn't as effective when he's out there, and then next thing you know, now you're hearing Darius Garland's going to miss the first 4 to 5 months of next season. So could him playing even be worth it for the Indiana Pacers? I know this is the NBA Finals. Don't know if he'll ever be back with this group, but what do you guys think about Game 6 of the NBA Finals? Who do you think is going to win outright, and also who do you think is going to cover the spread right now? Oklahoma City, the time of recording here, 6.5 point road favorite. And man, I think just with Halliburton's status, a lot of times you see teams rally when their star player is out. A lot of times you see teams take their foot off the gas, ease up a little bit. All these guys are NBA players, but right now this is the finals. This is a different situation. And with just one game to lock in their first championship, and well, it's been in Oklahoma City to lock in their first championship. I don't think that even this young group of Thunder, because like I said, don't never want to count on a Rick Carlisle coach team, but I think that this series is over. I think that the Thunder are going to win it Game 6. I actually said Thunder in 6 before the series started. I think the Thunder are going to win in Game 6, and also I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder cover the 6.5 point spread, meaning that Oklahoma City is going to win by 7 or more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Oklahoma City or Indiana? Who do you think is going to win the game? Who do you think is going to cover the number? Hope that everybody's having a good day. Been raining a lot in here in Houston, And another guy we're going to talk about here, we're going to go ahead and talk about Ace Bailey. And I'm sure most of you know who Ace Bailey is. If you don't know, then that is perfectly fine. So we're talking NBA draft with Rockets having the number 10 pick this year. Ace Bailey is someone before the season. Obviously right now it looks like Cooper Flagg is going to be the consensus, no doubt, number 1 pick out of Duke. But Ace Bailey was someone that all year long, in all the mock drafts and this last mock draft I was looking at that puts together about 12 of the biggest publications out there, from CBS Sports, ESPN, you name it, they had Ace Bailey going 3rd. And that's really been the narrative for most of the season. Ace Bailey being a top 3 pick. Ace Bailey, 6'10", out of a freshman, coming out of Rutgers, averaged 17.6 points per game, 7.2 rebounds. Shot 46% from the floor. About a third of his shots came from three-point range. Shot 34.6% from 3, just over 69% from the free throw line. And Ace Bailey, by being a top 3 talent, there's been some news. For what it's worth, I'm seeing people comparing him to Shedeur Sanders. I don't know if that's the best comparison, but basically what those comparisons are saying is that Ace Bailey could be the version of the player in this year's NBA draft that a lot of people have as a consensus top 3 that could drop. Now, how far does he drop? Who knows? But what's interesting about this, and while we're talking about this, is with the Houston Rockets having the number 10 pick, the reports are saying that Bailey has not scheduled any workouts yet. He's looking to go to a team that has these are just the reports, a clear path for him to be a superstar. And when you look at this draft, you look at Dallas at number 1, San Antonio at number 2. If they pass, well, Dallas is going to pass on them. But if you look at that and then you look at the 76ers at number 3, if he falls beyond that, there's a lot of places that you can see him not wanting to go to. The Charlotte Hornets, who would want to go there? There's already reports that he doesn't want to go to the Jazz. The Washington Wizards, who wants to go there? New Orleans Pelicans, that could be a destination that, who knows, whether he wants to go there or not. A lot of people would probably assume, if you're a superstar, that a lot of people thought that maybe Zion didn't want to go there, even though he did, and he's acting like he doesn't want to be there with his availability, but that's a whole nother thing. Shout out to our Pelicans channel, man. They do a great job over there on Pelicans Daily. But and then you look at the Brooklyn Nets, that could be a potential destination. It still is Brooklyn, New York, a bad team, but that could be a good fit for them. Then you look at the Raptors. I love the city of Toronto personally, but it's a place that comes up a lot that players don't want to go play there. And then next you got Houston at number 10. And this could be a good fit for Ace Bailey, especially when we're talking about these trade rumors and, Giannis and Kevin Durant, things that keep popping up and all the things that you'd have to give up. Bailey could drop. You could grab him at number 10. And even if he drops to, let's say, Brooklyn at number 8, now he's starting to fall in the range where you could potentially trade up. Is Ace Bailey somebody that you would like to trade up for? I've seen NBA comparisons for him to Michael Porter Jr. Thing with Ace Bailey, very explosive player, but some of the weaknesses that he has, not a great ball handler still, didn't finish at a high clip at the rim for his size and athleticism. And defensively, he still needs to add some muscle. So, especially if we're talking about the short term, Udoka's shown that he's not going to, even with these young players, he's not going to put guys on the floor unless they're showing maximum effort defensively. They're not going to get a lot of minutes, and Thompson showed that as a young guy, and he made first team All-NBA. So Udoka's not going to let anybody cheat the game on the defensive end. And Bailey, he zones out at times, and also he played at Rutgers. Rutgers, they had their best freshman class ever. Him and Dylan Harper, 2 guys projected to be top 3 picks, both freshmen, but both were on the same team. And they went 15 and 17. So you got talent-wise, what a lot of people are projecting, 2 of the top 3 college players, yet your team still had a losing record. And I know it's the Big Ten, but these guys are supposed to be two of the top players in college basketball. So that just kind of shows that having Ace Bailey right away doesn't necessarily mean it's going to result to wins right away. There's still a lot of work that he has to do. And I mentioned that as far as, is this, do you want to possibly, hopefully that he falls, or maybe trade up a little bit and try to get Bailey? Or is this, as we talk about possible trades, the fact that Bailey could fall could make it more enticing for another team, give more value to this number 10 pick that the Rockets currently have? Because as talented as Bailey is, do people want to deal with what, you never know, do they want to deal with, looks like early on it could potentially be a headache? Like I said, he's still coming off of a team that had a losing record. They lost to Kennesaw State this season, so to expect the young man to come in and necessarily be the missing piece for a championship is still asking a bit much. Let me know how you guys feel about Ace Bailey, but that's just some information there. Could potentially be something to keep our eyes on. I'm sure that as we keep going, who knows, there may be some mock drafts coming up that actually have him falling all the way to the Houston Rockets. But that was a big story that just came out. And another guy we're going to talk about here, and James Harden. And James Harden, we're probably wondering why we're talking about James Harden. Got a player option here with the Los Angeles Clippers. He's expected to decline the option and work out a long-term deal with the Clippers. And there's so many rumors and so many things that you hear out here in the NBA. Not always true, not always sure of what's true and what's not true. But remember, before he went to the Clippers, I was hearing a lot of things about James Harden wanting to come back to Houston and Udoka not wanting him. And I understand that. And one thing that I just want to know for you guys, definitely from the Rockets fans, how do you feel overall about James Harden's legacy in Houston? From a lot of the hardcore Rockets fans that I know, a lot of guys don't want to see him win. They've got some joy in seeing him, fail in some of these playoff games. And I think I've got to just keep it real about my feelings with James Harden. It's very frustrating because James Harden, along with, now this is about James Harden, I'm just saying Kyrie Irving with the comparison I'm going to make. James Harden and Kyrie Irving are two of the most offensive skilled players that I've ever seen. James Harden in his prime, and even now that he's older in age, I mean, when he really locks in, I mean, this guy's unstoppable. The things that he's able to do offensively, it's just really amazing. And what's so frustrating is how a guy can go from just being unstoppable to sometimes just being completely disinterested. And I was telling people before going into this playoffs, when people were talking about the Clippers are a team that I don't think that that's going to be in the Rockets' path in the Western Conference. At the end of the day, the Clippers are going to get clipped. And people were talking about the Clippers and it said, this series was going to happen when it really comes down to it, no matter how great he looks, gets down to a game 7 when the chips are really on the line, James Harden is not going to show up. And unfortunately, in game 7, as great of a career as he had in Houston, it's just been a little frustrating that it's, the way he left Houston was disappointing. Brooklyn, Philadelphia, always somebody else's fault. So overall, how do you guys feel about James Harden legacy? Do you agree to disagree? That's fine. If you want to kill me in the comments, that's fine. But obviously, I don't think that he's anyone that that anyone expects to be back in Houston this go round. So just kind of wondered, a little bit of a complicated legacy for James Harden, one of the most talented offensive players of all time. But just in those few shining moments, just hasn't been able to get over the hump. And let's talk one more time here about Kevin Durant. I appreciate the comment yesterday. I proposed a trade. I was told that it was stupid and that you would propose, I think, a Spam sandwich, a used wrench, some dirty socks, and something else. So there's some other food item in there for Kevin Durant, and that you don't want aging diva that can't stay on the court. And I definitely completely understand those feelings. Thing that I'm gonna have to ask though out there is, if you don't want Kevin Durant and you want to stay the course, How are you going to feel if Kevin Durant goes to San Antonio and you run into him in the second round with De'Aaron Fox and Wemby going up against the Rockets because you didn't want to give up Jalen Green, or you didn't want to give up Reed Shepherd, or you didn't want to give away the picks, and it could end up working out. But before it happens, because we got to make these decisions before, because afterwards we all know the outcome. But before it happens, right now, for more fans out there, for more people following, how do you feel about Kevin Durant? I want to know more comments from more people. I definitely appreciate the comment yesterday, and I'll address those, whether you're in, whether you're out. I want to know the honest fans from the true fans. How do you feel about Kevin Durant? Do you want him on this roster? I know with Houston, there's definitely a history of guys who aren't Rockets coming here, big names, to try to win a championship and having complicated legacies that end in disappointment, going all the way back to Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley. Dwight Howard it was fun here. It didn't result in a championship, but there's been a lot of Chris Paul. It was definitely fun here. Chris Paul's career, I think, was a success in Houston, in my opinion, even though it didn't end in a championship. So a lot of times, though, with these big names that come to Houston, later in their career, it doesn't end in a championship. The exception of Clyde Drexler, but Clyde Drexler is totally different. Clyde Drexler is H-Town, from H-Town, played high school, college ball in H-Town. Probably know where he's going to be today, honestly. So that's completely, Clyde is definitely Houston. Kevin Durant is not. So is he a guy that's going to come in and really embrace it, or is it going to be another first round, second round exit, and then Durant saying, well, it's just a team game. That's what it is. So I definitely understand not wanting Durant, but if you got from somebody who does want Durant, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and follow Rockets Daily. Subscribe to us. You can follow me on X as well at Get Sports Strong. Do a lot of other sports content as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Let's have a great day.